It's the final weekend of the regular season all around college baseball. Wake Forest at Duke to begin a series here at Jack Coombs Field. This is the first of a three-game set. And a welcome to you with Coach Dick Cook. I'm Darren Vaught. Coach, last weekend of the regular season, still plenty to play for both teams, certainly.
Duke getting ready for the tournament. They know they're going to have to win that tournament if they want to continue on in the postseason. Wake Forest trying to improve their position, maybe get into a double bye scenario if they can run the table here this weekend.
Well, there is maybe no team in the ACC playing better currently than the Demon Deacons. Particularly offensively, it's been a lot of the long ball.
We were talking a few weeks ago about how everyone was ready for that Wake offense to get going. Now they're hot. You match that up with a power pitching staff, and they're a tough combination to go against.
8 home runs last weekend in a 3-game sweep of the Catamounts of Western Carolina, the top team in the SoCon. And how about this, Coach? We get a fun little reunion. Corey Muscara, the first-year head coach of the Blue Devils, of course, the pitching coach for that handful of seasons, to much success for Wake Forest.
Tons of pitching success, hoping to bring some of that to the table here at Duke. Brand new roster, 23 transfers, 7 freshmen, so going through some growing pains as he gets adjusted to being in the head seat.
One of those he brought to this Duke program gets the start today, as it's the right-hander Peter Lemke.
He's going to be enough fastball, 90 to 92, really good changeup, serviceable slider, doesn't give up a lot of base hits, going to be a pretty good strike thrower, and he's going to have to change speeds, pitch inside at Wake, move them off the plate, and it's going to be a good challenge for him tonight.
Javar Williams leads things off for the Demon Deacons. Their stellar, dynamic top guy in the lineup. And the first pitch from Lemke is taken in there for strike one. We're underway.
I'll tell you what, Javar Williams, his stock has really jumped in the eyes of a number of scouts that I've spoken to this year. He's just gets better each week. He shows more and more maturity. He hasn't played the game in an incredibly long time, but he certainly doesn't play that way.
1-1 after Lemke bounces it to the backstop. On-base percentage this season for Javar Williams is .461. And, Coach, when he leads off a frame for Wake Forest, it's right under .500 for the year.
And then when he gets on base, he can run. He's your ideal leadoff guy. He's got some power, hits the ball all over the ballpark. You know, we talked earlier in the season about professional at-bats, maturity at the plate, and that has certainly resonated with a lot of scouts.
1-2 count, and Williams waves and misses. Good start for Lemke and company, one away.
Back-to-back quality changeups, great location for both of them. He's going to get some sinking action on that changeup, right over the middle of the plate, but down out of the zone, right below the barrel. Great pitch.
Brings up Luke Costello, the right fielder for Wake Forest. Lemke in the zone again with the off-speed.
And watching video, what I really like about Lemke is he's willing to throw that changeup to right-handed hitters too, and a lot of right-handed pitchers will not throw their change to a same-sided hitter. We're seeing a pretty good couple fastballs at 94, 95, a little bit on the higher side for Mr. Lemke.
So second strike for Costello.
You know, a team like Wake, as veteran as they are, such experienced hitters, you're not going to get them out just by going in and out. You're going to have to get them out by going up and back, changing speeds, fastball, changeup, changing their eye levels a little bit. If he can throw his changeup over the plate, that'll help keep the Wake Forest hitters off of his fastball.
Now a 2-2. Swept away, taken by Costello. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lemke, we mentioned, in his first year with this Duke program, a transfer from Division III Denison.
Boy, and they've had a great run. I believe they were deep in the national championship conversation last year, maybe this year as well.
Yeah.
Division 3.
One of the top teams in the country, Division 3, as Costello takes. And that's ball 4, runner aboard for Wake Forest.
Now batting the first baseman, number 6, Cade Lewis.
Brings up Cade Lewis.
But he's been a big part of this Wake Forest offense getting going. He's gotten himself hot as well.
Watches a floater, top shelf, 1-0. Lewis, 13 home runs on the season now to go with 10 doubles, a triple.
And like Javar Williams, I think his stock has risen in the eyes of a number of scouts, especially as he's gotten hot here in the latter part of the season.
Something you love about Lewis, too, Coach. It's not quite even, but one number off in terms of walks to strikeouts.
Boy, in this day and age of so many people swinging and missing, that's really compelling, especially when you flash the power that he's got.
Hitters count. Lewis leaves the bat on his shoulder, and it's 2-1. It's been a part of that surge the last month or so for Wake Forest's bats. That one's well high of the zone, 3-1.
Lemke's got enough fastball to play. I think you're going to see, you know, probably a 50-50 split fastball to off-speed stuff. Middle of the lineup for the Wake Forest hitters, they're going to see a ton of the off-speeds. There's a couple sliders here that Lewis has seen.
And there's a strike.
You know, it is fastball thus far here. 3 hitters in, is ranged 90 to 95. Change up at the 83-mile-an-hour range. Really good contrast there between the two.
Costello, the runner, goes, but it misses down and away. Ball 4. So consecutive walks after that opening strikeout. And it's 2 on for Wake Forest with 1 away.
This is obvious with any team, but Wake's just too good offensively to give them the free passes, the free bases. You know, they don't have to string together 6 or 7 hits. You walk a couple guys, and a number of them can run it out of the ballpark.
Lemke with his first offering to Dalton Wentz, taken 1-0. Wentz, the switch hitter, hitting left-handed against the righty Lemke, has sent 4 home runs out of the park in his last 4 games.
I've talked to 2 scouts specifically about him, and they are thrilled that he's gotten rolling.
Rips it on the ground up the middle. Lambden nowhere to go with it after he bobbles. Tries to throw to first anyway. Everybody's safe, and the bases are loaded.
Boy, an odd position to be in to field that ball as a shortstop. Tried to field it, get back to the bag, knowing just trying to do a lot before he got the baseball, knowing he was going to have to hurry a little bit.
So now the bag's full for Matt Conti, who's been quite the surprise for Wake Forest. And he looks at a strike to make it 0-1.
You know, we talk a lot about fastballs off speed, you know, pitching behind. So much of it is being able to throw your fastball at the knees. I think we're in a generation now where pitchers don't do that a lot. You know, we saw the highlight reel of balls being hit out of the park, and gosh, so many of those pitches were belt high, letter high. You know, back in the old days, it was picture a box 3 inches above the knees. It goes 6 inches below, fill up the box.
The 1-1 to Conti. Swung on, he can't connect.
There's that really good right-on-right changeup. When Lemke's throwing it right, it's going to have really good late sinking action on it. He's got to make sure he doesn't try to nibble too much with that changeup. Let the hitters swing at that fastball-looking arm speed with that pitch coming out 12 miles an hour less than his fastball.
On the ground, it's fair down the line. Colton Quagliano drops the ball and is unable to get the force out. A rare miscue for the stellar defensively third baseman for the Blue Devils, and Wake Forest gets the first run.
Boy, that's 2 ground balls in a row where the defenders had to move a little quicker than he probably wanted to, ideally, to get the play done, and just couldn't hang on to it as he got to the bag.
That prompts a visit from Corey Muscara to talk to his pitcher Lemke and the infield. 2 early errors for the Blue Devils and a quick start, 1-0 lead for Wake Forest.
This is not the way you want to give Wake Forest a 1-0 lead either, right?
Well, I mean, like you were saying, you can safely assume, especially with how the bats have been lately for the Deeks, they're going to hit some. The last thing you want to do is give them a run on a couple of walks and a couple of errors.
So that's a whole lot of extra at bats you don't want to have to give those Wake Forest hitters.
Big swing on the first pitch. Boston Torres misses the 93-mile-per-hour fastball.
If Lemke can stop the damage at 1 run, he'll give himself something to talk about. Great job trying to get in with a fastball there. 0-1 count, great time to throw a fastball, great time to throw a fastball into hitters. Get them off the plate. If you miss off the plate, even the count up, that helps you open up the outside part of the plate to pitch to.
That's an outside pitch for Torres. Taken 2-1.
Lemke gets so much movement to the third base side of the plate, tailing action. He, again, wants to make sure he doesn't try to create too much movement. Let it move on its own.
Torres launches it deep right center field. Hamilton racing back as it bounces over the wall and into the bullpen for an automatic double. It will drive in 2.
Fastball, inside half, great pitch to hit up a little bit. A little surprised we didn't see a changeup there since he missed with it the pitch before. Conventional wisdom, when a pitcher misses with an off-speed pitch, hitters instinctively think they're going to get a fastball next pitch. There's certainly an art form to, as a pitcher, if you miss with an off-speed pitch, being able to repeat it. Torres did not miss that fastball right in his wheelhouse.
Andrew Costello takes inside. This is the younger brother of Luke Costello, who we saw earlier at the plate for the Demon Deacons. Costello, a true freshman, early enrollee, in fact. Joined the program in January and has started, coach, to get more and more opportunities, particularly in this DH role.
Yeah, he's got some scary bat speed. He's a guy you look at and you can see all kinds of great offensive numbers in another 2 years.
Takes a healthy hack and fouls it out of play. Two and one for Costello.
You know, this just illuminates how scary that Wake offense is. You know, you give them 2 walks, 2 errors. Rarely are you going to get out without a crooked number, and they certainly have taken advantage of this first inning.
Weakly grounded. Lambden from short, strong throw, and it's not squeezed at first. That will score 2 runs. Costello safe, and a 5-0 start for the Deacs.
Costello got jammed, hit a slow roller-ish ground ball to shortstop. Did a great job getting down the line and making it play pretty close, but that's got to be a, kind of a routine 6-3. Throw got in the dirt, got rid of it quick, sunk on him. Marsh not able to pick it up.
The third error of the top of the first for the Blue Devils. And now a 1-0 count to Blake Schaff as we've reached the 8th batter in the lineup for Wake Forest.
And a 20-pitch inning has become a 31-pitch inning.
Fouled straight back by Schaff. He's got 1-1. Part of the emergence of this Wake Forest lineup, Coach, is the settling in, you would say, of these 8th and 9th batters. Schaff to be followed by the freshman J.D. Stein. They've started to figure it out, and that has paid dividends.
Boy, you look at their numbers over the past few games, and if you're an opposing team and you see that, and you go, oh, and I've got hitters 1 through 7 to pitch to as well. Wow. Flashing some, I think, unexpected power at that part of the lineup.
Schaff up to 5 home runs on the season himself. Off the hands and back, foul.
Well, you can see Lemke's got, he's not 97 miles an hour, but he's got enough life on that fastball. That fastball gets on hitters late. Matches up great with the changeup that he throws. They're just a little bit behind the 8 ball after those defensive miscues.
Close take, Schaff benefits as the count moves full.
Well, that's a great take. Really tough pitch to lay off. Just down and off the plate.
That arm side run you were talking about earlier with Lemke.
Great pitch, it just missed. Perfectly executed. Just a really good discipline by Schaff to lay off of that. With that kind of movement on that changeup, he wants to make sure he doesn't try to create more. He's got plenty. Throw it in the zone, let the ball take itself down to the bottom part of the zone, miss the barrels. They're going to swing at his arm speed.
Strike 3, that one is called with the fastball just a bit more firm from Lemke, and he gets it on the edge of the zone.
That too had similar kind of action, tailing away to the third base side of the plate. Nice job by Strand of sticking that pitch and letting the umpires see it.
So now 2 down, and J.D. Stein is the 9th batter for Wake Forest.
Travis Carlson, our home plate umpire. Very good ball strike gentleman back there. I think the advent of TrackMan everywhere has inherently made college umpires better in the ball strike world.
Chopper, Quagliano's got it at third, delivers a strong throw across, and it retires the side. 3 errors for the Blue Devils, just 1 hit for Wake Forest, and they plate 5. Lavonis gets the start for Wake Forest, and he loves to be spotted those handful of runs that were plated by Wake Forest in the top of the frame. Not often this year you're going to lose with Lavonis on the mound and you score 5 for a game, much less the first inning.
Power arm. Scouts love him. Very high ceiling at the next level. Striking out 14 batters per 9 innings. 95 to 97 mile an hour fastball. Power slider. We might see more secondary stuff out of him than we will his fastball. That's how good everything is that he's got. Important now, though, coming off of that odd 5-run first inning of putting a 0 up. This is one of those times you always want to put a 0 up after your team scores, but That was such an unusual top of the first. I think it's really important he gets out there and pitches like it's nothing, pounds his own, makes them put it in play.
Blue Devil lineup started by Jake Lambden, R.J. Hamilton, and Caden Smith also due up here in the home half. Lavonis' first sails up and in for a 1-0 count.
And there was a first pitch slider to start the game. That tells you where his secondary stuff is in the pecking order for him. A lot of confidence in that power slider to go with that confidence of his power fastball.
There's the slider again. It drops in for a 1-1.
Good adjustment. Miss with it, repeat it. Show that you can make the adjustment. Gets the hitters a little bit more in doubt on what they're going to get and let fastball count.
98 miles per hour for his first. So you've said it, Lavonis likes the slider as much as the fastball, both right around 30% of the time thrown this season.
There are, depending on, I think, the organization. And
there's a breaking ball, swing and miss. That's the curveball, the second of those two breakers that Lavonis likes to use.
And they're really good. When you're striking out 14 guys a game, per 9 innings, you don't really second guess it. Some organizations would love to see him live a little more off of that fastball. There's some organizations that are very spin heavy in their philosophy, so he matches up well there. He clearly has confidence in it. But it's nice to have the 98 in your back pocket, right? Or
99 to start R.J. Hamilton. Okay. Average fastball velocity this season for Lavonis is 97 and change. Hamilton fists it into the air into right field. Costello, a short drift over, receives it for the out.
Ball with a little bit of movement to the inside part of the plate, probably in the inside half, and you're going to get a lot of lazy fly balls that way.
And Lavonis, the type of pitcher he is, I'm sure would welcome some lazy two-pitch outs to mix in with his power stuff and all the swing and miss he's going to get. First one is fouled away by Caden Smith. That was a reactionary swing, if anything.
To an 80-mile-an-hour first pitch curveball. Three hitters. First hitter was a first pitch slider. Second hitter was a first pitch fastball. Third hitter a first pitch curveball.
There's the curve, swung on and missed 0-2.
Now I'd love to see 98 somewhere up, out.
I know you would. I know you would. The 0-2 down into the turf.
So here's my unsuper scientific theory. So many times he threw two great curveballs to start this at bat. The odds of throwing a third perfect one are probably not real high, especially at this level. So let's throw the 98 since we've got it, and then go back to it 1 and 2 if we want to do that. That's the pitch I would have loved to have seen, 1 and 2 or 0 and 2.
Yeah.
Now he's evened it up 2 and 2. It's a little more than it.
You got less room for error.
A little bit.
Yeah. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball, liner, and it's just foul in left.
Boy, I've seen that a lot this year. Pitcher will throw two good breaking balls to get to an 0-2 count, and whether it's the pitcher or the pitching coach, whoever's calling the pitch, decide we're just going to throw nothing but that to this guy, and then they get out of the rhythm. They don't throw that third one quite as well, and becomes a little bit of a tougher at bat or a tougher inning for them.
Here's a fly ball off the bat of Smith. Williams ranges into the gap and squeezes for the third out. So after that 5 spot, nothing doing for Duke in the first inning. In Durham, tough start for the Blue Devils as they trail 5-0 on 3 errors in just 1 Wake Forest hit in the top of the first inning.
Just a couple plays. They're just moving a little too quick, trying to get something done fast.
And so to the top of the order again for Wake Forest. Ball fouled away by Javar Williams, so it's 0-1. And he evens the count with a take, 1-1. Williams struck out his first time up. That was a great start for Peter Lemke, the starting pitcher for the Blue Devils, and then the chaos took place. Williams hits it firm out to center field. No problem for Michael DiMartini, one down.
And you know, the errors obviously extended that inning, made it worse than it needed to be, but it kind of got started with those back-to-back base on balls after the strikeout of Williams to start the game.
Yeah, went strikeout, walk, walk, error, error, two-run double, and another error that allowed 2 runs to score. Luke Costello blasts it high up into the air. DiMartini is there into the shadows. Had to move a little bit after he initially gauged it. 4 pitches and 2 outs for the Blue Devil defense.
And a good pass at that first pitch fastball, just a tick late on it. And I like the fact that Lemke's coming at them with fastballs. Good offensive club. Put a bunch of runs up in the first inning, but he's being aggressive into the zone here in inning 2.
Cade Lewis, first pitch swing, and he pounds it through the right side for a base knock.
Fastball elevated a little bit. Outside half. Lewis able to pull it firmly through the 4-hole. You know, I think you see a lot of pitchers against a team like Wake. They give up some runs and suddenly they get really tentative and start trying to nibble with off-speed stuff, and things just go downhill even more so. Really good first pitch change right there.
Wake Forest, second time through the order, being very aggressive on these first pitches.
And I'm sure their scouting report on Lemke is, you know, see the changeup up in the zone. They know that if it's down, it's going to run to an unhittable part of the zone and probably out of the strike zone.
The 0-1 bounced but foul. And quickly Dalton Wentz has 2 strikes.
So Lemke's got to find that spot visually in the zone where he wants to start that change and let it run down to the unhittable part of the strike zone. 2 really good changeups in a row there to Wentz to start here. And he's dialed in right now. Wentz swinging it great. A couple scouts I've spoken to recently are really excited about how he's been swinging the bat of late.
Doing it from both sides too, the switch hitter.
So there's another example we talked about. 2 great changeups that get to 0-2. Through the changeup again, 0-2. Let's throw that 92 off the plate or elevate it, and then maybe finish him. He might get a bad swing on that 0-2 fastball.
Elevates with the 1-2. Now it's an even count to Wentz.
A little slider that got away from him up in the top of the zone there.
Runner goes. Wentz watches strike 3, and it retires the side. So the effort by Lewis for naught, and it's a 0 on the board for the Duke defense. And here in Durham, game 1 of a 3-game set to wrap up the regular season between Wake Forest and Duke. 5 in the first for the Demon Deacons as Duke to the plate for the second. Chris Lavonis into his second inning of work and misses upstairs to Matthew Strand for a 1-0 count. 4-5-6-2 up. Strand the catcher, Colin Anderson the second baseman, and Michael DiMartini the center fielder.
6 fastballs for Mr. Lavonis. Nothing under 97. Most have been 98, a couple 99s in there. Good time of the year to be doing that too.
Finds the strike zone with 98 to make it 2-1 to Strand.
And down in the zone, great finish with his delivery, really gets great leverage. Very sound mechanically.
Went for a off speed and left it up. Now 3-1.
Lavonis from Homedale, New Jersey, home of the Garden State Arts Center, no longer called that. One of the first amphitheaters. I grew up in that area and went to many outdoor concerts there. I won't tell you who I saw because I don't really date myself.
Strand reaches and pops it into the air, foul into left. Now, you had to know I was going to ask. Best show you ever saw there?
Oh, wow. You're gonna laugh.
No, it's okay. If you got a couple, that's fine. You might make me jealous.
Sammy Davis Jr.
That's cool.
Glenn Campbell.
Okay. Holy cow. Full count here from Lavonis. Drops it in for strike 3.
So I just don't think there's a lot of pitchers in the country in college baseball who top out their fastball at 99 and then are very confident throwing a 3-2 curveball to freeze a hitter. I just don't think there's a lot of guys that can do that.
Second punch out for Lavonis. And then he goes back to the heat to get strike 1 on Anderson.
You know, that whole dugout saw that 3-2 breaking ball and have that in the back of their minds, and then they suddenly all got frozen by that 98 down the middle.
There's consecutive fastballs. We haven't seen that yet, maybe, have we? Fouled away 0-2.
Again, for those who've listened to other games this year, they know that I love the 0-1 fastball. Now he's got so many options here.
0-2 goes with the heater again.
Now, if their book is he can't handle the fastball, they'll stay with it. Or he's got that electric secondary stuff, 2 breaking balls he could throw here.
It's a breaking ball, and it's strike 3.
Little foul tip.
Some indecision by Anderson, and he is sent back to the dugout.
Number 19, Michael DiMartini.
Nice job by Travis Carlson behind the plate there. Our ball and strike umpire staying with it.
Breaking ball in there for the first strike to Michael DiMartini. One and one.
So 25 pitches, 10 fastballs thus far, none of which have been less than 97. 3 strikeouts and 5 hitters.
One and one. Snaps it. The curveball misses inside.
So he was all confused. I think he had the wrong count.
Yeah, that too. I think he thought it was strike 3.
Look at the 2 and 1. That's way off.
I would think if you're his pitching coach, you think, all right, that's a good sign. He's feeling pretty good. Fastball evens it up. That's strike 2.
Let me throw 98 on the knees on the outside half. See what you can do with it.
Okay, there we go. Rode the fastball high, but now it's got a full count.
What's the over-under on an off-speed pitch here?
It was a curveball last time that got him strike 3.
Slider.
Slider sent skyward. Williams underneath in center. And it's an out either way. Another 1-2-3 frame for Chris Lavonis in the Wake defense. Winds whipping here at Jack Coombs Field, and some weird score lines there. 5-0 Wake Forest as we're through 2.
2 base on balls, 3 errors, 1 well-timed double by Wake, and they've put a 5 spot up in the first.
Matt Conti begins things for Wake Forest and watches the first pitch from Peter Lemke, 1-0.
You know, Lemke's arm really dropped down on that change, trying to make it move a little more than he needed to.
Now 2-0 for Conti. Reached on an error and drove in a run his last time up. One of the 3 errors for the Blue Devils in that 5-run first for the Deeks. This one into the air. R.J. Hamilton runs out of room as it's out of play.
Lemke with a really nice adjustment in that second inning after that odd first inning of 38 pitches. An aggressive 10-pitch inning. A lot of fastballs, well located. A couple quality changeups to Dalton Wentz, and then froze him on a 2-2 fastball down.
Fouled by Conti, 2-2.
You can see in the windup, you can see him grip that changeup at the outset. Sort of a circle changeup type grip. But he's got such great arm action on it. Looks just like his fastball. And that's what hitters swing at, the fastball arm action when you throw a good changeup. The spin's going to look like a fastball. It's going to backspin similarly. You're going to get him out in front because of your arm speed.
It's a swing and a miss from Conti on the slider. It's the 4th punch out for Lemke and the first away in the 3rd.
Good late downward action to it.
Number 25, Boston Torres.
And good work behind the plate by Strand of going down to smother that, make sure it didn't get away. He did a nice job of setting up on the outside part of the plate to give Lemke a good visual.
Lemke right back to it, 0-1 to Boston Torres. Hit the auto double. It bounced over the wall in right and into the bullpen. That drove in 2 in the first. Half-heartedly comes around, and Lemke with 2 strikes on Torres.
A lot of movement away from Torres there by that on that changeup by Lemke. A lot of movement to the arm side. He's got to make sure, though, we talked about, that he doesn't try to make it run too far. He wants to make sure he's got that sinking action to it, that it's not just a changeup that fades.
One and 2 after it's in the opposite batter's box. Torres sends it into the air. It'll stay on the infield. Lambden running in on the pitcher's mound and lost his footing. Torres runs it out. He's safe easy at second.
It goes as a base hit, right?
I think so. Little infield double.
So who do you think has the best shot at catching that?
I mean, look, it's easy in hindsight to see where it lands and say, oh, maybe Lemke should have just not moved.
Or call it and let somebody call you off if you're the pitcher. And a lot of pitchers are taught, pop up, get out of there.
For sure.
I'd rather see him call it and then have somebody get you out of there.
First pitch, bouncer, Quagliano at third, throws across and retires Andrew Costello for the second out.
I think the wind probably played a little bit of a role on that.
That's what I was going
right?
to say. I think off the bat, though, again, this is all hindsight 2020. Off the bat, you probably would not have predicted that will land on the pitcher's mound.
I agree. You look at those flags coming in this way a little bit.
Man in scoring position for Blake Schaff. And looks at a strike on the fastball. Schaff struck out his first time up in the first, but we alluded to the success of both him and J.D. Stein in the 8th and 9th spots in the order. This is indicative of that. The last 12 games, they're combining for .350 at the plate. Schaff swats it to the opposite field, deep into left in the corner, and it bounces fair and then over the wall. Another automatic double for the Demon Deacons.
Boy, fastball away. Schaff just a really nice job of not trying to do too much with it. Hit it where it was pitched. Was up a little bit. Boy, showed a little bit of easy opposite field pop right there.
It brought in Torres from second, and it's 6-0 Wake Forest now. How about that? Right on cue. That doesn't often happen that way. We're saying, man, this guy's been swinging it well, and then he comes through with an RBI double.
Well, the numbers that Schaff and Stein are putting up of late, those are numbers of the 3-4 guys, you know, or 4-5 hitters or 2-3. Those are just great middle of the lineup offensive numbers. You love getting it out of the guys at 8 and 9, knowing who you've got coming around the top at the top.
Stein watches a breaking ball to make it 0-2. This is the defensive dynamo shortstop who has settled into his role at the bottom of the order offensively for Wake Forest. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Stein fanned to retire the side, but a couple of doubles and another run across for Wake.
College baseball teams holding their breath for a chance to dogpile in America's heartland. It's the NCAA Baseball Selection Show with watch parties all over the country. Let the road to Omaha begin.
Oh, Memorial Day Monday, Selection Show Monday. The start of one of the best times of the year in the sporting calendar as Wake Forest trying to close out the regular season and keep their resume standing where it is. Chris Lavonis gets a swing and a miss from Bobby Marsh, the 7th hitter in the lineup for the Duke Blue Devils. As it stands now, the latest D1 baseball projection has Wake Forest as the 2 seed in the Gainesville Regional, Florida at the number 10 national seed.
You know, any of these teams coming out of the ACC are scary, but I think Wake's particularly so, given the quality of their arms, so many power arms, strike out so many batters, and they've got a really flowing offense right now.
0-2, Lavonis gets another swing and a miss. Bobby Marsh down on 3 pitches. The 4th strikeout for Lavonis.
So Lavonis went changeup, curveball. Oh, by the way, I've got this 92-mile-an-hour changeup that I throw to left-handers on occasion.
Quagliano.
12 fastballs out of 32 pitches.
Starts Colton Quagliano with a breaking ball that misses inside. First plate appearance for Quagliano. And he looks at a strike. So despite that popping out from Conti's glove, makes it 1-1.
11 balls and 34 pitches. 11 balls, 23 strikes. Throwing 98, 99 miles an hour, but throwing more secondary than your fastball. That's an unhittable curveball there. That's exciting stuff to watch. Exciting to see.
As a hitter, you know he doesn't throw the fastball a ton. Like, what are you doing in terms of an approach? Is there's a swing and a miss at another curve? I mean, I'm saying, like, are you anticipating one or the other? How do you approach that?
I think as soon as you start thinking and trying to
You're done.
Off speed, you're done. You know, you've got to discipline yourself to say, I'm looking fastball, and then I'm adjusting. And as good as his slider and specifically his curveball is tonight, you know, you're tipping your hat a lot. Going, well, he's just got it rolling right now. Creates really defensive at bats.
First pitch to Tyler Albright, taken. Albright, for much of the season, especially toward the beginning of the year, was the leadoff batter for Duke. Was toward the top of the nation in walks drawn at the plate. Then missed some time due to injury as he fouls it away 1-1. One of the holdovers, one of the few for Corey Muscara.
Boy, he's had a really, really nice career here at Duke. I would say when he was playing for Coach Pollard, probably overachieved a little bit early on in his career and gained a lot more playing time than probably what that staff anticipated they would get out of him.
Now Albright with the unenviable situation of 2 strikes on him, facing Lavonis. Close take. Lavonis and Wake Forest's defense thought they had strike 3.
You got to be careful about running off the field. That's a couple times. Get an umpire a little defensive if you do that too much.
Now a full count. Breaking ball, misses. A check swing, says Albright did not go, and he draws his 42nd walk of the season. And Duke has their first base runner.
Good at bat by Albright. Lavonis getting just a little bit quick with his delivery there the last few. He needs to gather a little bit over the rubber, a little better. Sync everything up a little bit, gear it down just a tick.
"19 stolen bases for Tyler Albright this season. He's been caught stealing 5 times. Jake Lambden watches it miss low, 1-0.
Duke likes to run. Down 5-0 in the third, probably not, or 6-0 in the third, probably not the time you're going to get the wheels rolling, especially with 2 out.
Big swing and miss from Lambden, 1-1.
What Lavonis has to be careful of, and on the first pitch here to Lambden, Lavonis quickened up his delivery on his fastball. He's got to make sure he doesn't get too quick, get too concerned about the potential base stealing. Hold the runners by varying your tempos, holding long sets, make pick throws from long sets, but then let yourself gather and throw a quality pitch. Don't rush to the plate to throw the pitch.
1-1 taken for strike 2. And now Lavonis with another chance with 1 pitch to get out of the frame. We welcome those of you joining us via Squeeze Play now. Shout out to our guys Schick and Runes. Hope you're enjoying that fun show for the first time being aired in the regular season. And a breaking ball swung on and missed. Chris Lavonis gets out of the frame in the bottom of the 3rd. That's his 6th strikeout. From the ESPN family of networks on Saturday. Couple of noon Eastern starts and ranked matchups. Georgia Tech at Boston College, Mississippi State at Texas A&M in the SEC, and then the finale for this one takes place at 3 on ACC Network as well, as Javar Williams looks at a pitch beginning the frame for Wake Forest here in the top of the fourth.
Lemke has not given up a lot of hard-hit balls this game. Double in the first after 2 walks and 2 errors. Was hit well by Torres. Single by Cade Lewis, and then the double down the left field line by Schaff.
Williams has got a 3-0. Leadoff batter for the Demon Deacons. This is his 3rd plate appearance, his 3rd time leading off the inning. Did so in the 1st, 2nd, and now the 4th. And there's a strike to advance the count. Yeah, squeezed in between those hits you mentioned is the sky-high pop-up that wound up being a double for Torres. There's ball 4 inside. Williams leads off with a walk.
Another example as to why he's so dangerous. Good discipline, lays off of pitches that are close. Opposing teams know he's got power, knows he's a good professional type hitter. Again, very mature approach at the box.
So this is a player-led meeting on the mound, as Duke does not have anybody warming up. And after a leadoff walk, first leadoff batter to reach safely for Wake Forest today, maybe just a circling up of sorts.
I'd be curious. I'd like to have someone mic'd up there just to see what they were chatting about.
Everyone back to their respective posts, and Luke Costello to the plate for Wake Forest now.
Just missed a fastball. His last at bat flew out to center field.
Costello, the team's leader in both home runs and RBIs, 17 and 60 on the season. Oh, yeah, and you got Javar Williams to worry about at first. 30 stolen bases on the year.
Again, just like we talked about with Lavonis, Lemke's got to hold Williams by varying his tempos. Nice job there of a long set and then a pickoff throw. The longer you can hold it, make that runner be frozen, his legs will get heavy. You might get him false step going back to the bag.
Hard secondary for Williams, but he didn't go.
And right there, you saw a slide step by Lemke to try to get the ball to the plate quicker. Slide steps are fine as long as you're not compromising the quality of the pitch you're throwing. What you don't want to do is get the ball to the plate quick but be backing up third all night because you're not throwing a very good pitch.
Lemke again misses inside, and it's 2-0.
Just missed with that changeup. Really good tailing action to it. Good job by Costello of staying off of that.
Called strike, and it's 2-1 to Costello, who has a pretty big gap on the right side of the infield with both the first baseman Marsh holding the runner and that pull side shift.
Not a bad time to think about starting Williams here after a 2-0 fastball.
2-1, bounce to left side. Quagliano, quick release, gets it to second for the force and a quick turn. Executes the double play perfectly.
Really well done. Made it routine. Quagliano playing very deep there. Knowing the power that Costello's got. A little deeper than double play depth. Really good, easy, quick throw.
Quagliano, we mentioned with his error in the first inning how uncharacteristic it is. He is the nation's leader amongst third basemen in defensive runs saved, and Cade Lewis punches one through that right side of the infield again. So that's 2 hits of that variety for Cade Lewis today. He's 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored as well.
Third baseman number 1.
A little bit out in front, but kept his hands back really, really well. To be able to serve that in the right field for a base hit.
Both of those singles on the first pitch as well. After watching all the way to a full count and drawing the walk his first time up. So he got pretty comfortable facing Lemke. Into the air and out of play. Foul ball, Dalton Wentz, who was 0 for 2. Reached on an error and struck out.
He's hit some mammoth home runs of late. A few scouts I've talked with are really thrilled with how he's been swinging the bat the past month.
Yeah, he had that 2 home run game against Western Carolina last weekend. Both against a left-handed pitcher, so both batting right-handed. Again, Wentz is a switch hitter. And he hit both of them 430 feet to left center field. Just absolute moonshots. 1-1, ripped into the air, out into center field. DeMartini there for the grab. And the third out. Runner stranded for Wake Forest. Nothing doing for the Deacs in the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th we go. First game of the final regular season series here in Durham. A lot of familiarity between these two programs. And Wake Forest off to a 6-0 start. Chris Lavonis has been fantastic on the mound for the Demon Deacons. He'll have 2, 3, 4 in the Blue Devils order, beginning with R.J. Hamilton here.
He got that 5-run lead. And boy, he's just never let Duke get back into it, which isn't always easy to do.
Drops in a first pitch breaking ball. We've seen that a lot today. 0-1 to R.J. Hamilton. Well, it's one thing for sort of your run-of-the-mill average Joe pitcher to have a 5-spot in the first and be given some confidence. It's another thing for Lavonis with, you know, the tools he has around his belt, so to speak.
And the deeper it gets, the more wind he takes out of the Duke sails offensively.
0-2, and he elicits a swing and a miss. 7th strikeout for Chris Lavonis. He's fanned 4 of the last 5 he's faced. 3
quality sliders there. The third one in a great spot, 0-2. Just off the outside edge. Great job by Conti of setting up in a great spot to give Lavonis a good visual as to where he wanted that ball to start and finish.
And he starts Caden Smith with a called strike.
With a right-on-right changeup at 92 miles an hour.
Missed downstairs, 1-1.
Sometimes, and a couple other times I've seen Lavonis, he'll get into these really good, effortless, seamless kind of grooves and maybe starts playing around with some pitches a little too much and suddenly makes innings a little tougher than they need it to be. Hopefully he continues to attack the zone, make Duke put the ball in play.
2-1, rolled over foul by Smith, and that evens the count back up.
Boy, and he's had excellent command on that 80-mile-an-hour curveball. And he's had good command with his slider. A lot of times pitchers will throw both fast or curveball and slider. They sometimes will get kind of mixed up and become the same sort of pitch.
Opposite field from Smith. Costello there for the catch, 2 down.
It'll be interesting to see when Lavonis gets to the next level, because he loves his off-speed stuff and throws it so much. Does that change? Do they change him philosophically because he's got that 98, 99-mile-an-hour fastball there?
And based on what you were saying earlier, you would assume that has to do with organizationally where he goes, the fit there,
yeah,
probably.
I think so. And then, I think you've got to be careful having a collective philosophy. I mean, personally, I think it should be individual based on what that pitcher brings.
For sure,
right?
Yeah. What is your personnel best at?
If this guy if he's lived great off of his fastball, there's no reason to not do that.
There's that changeup again, gets a swing and a miss from Strand.
This tonight is the best I've seen Lavonis relative to command of multiple pitches, pounding the strike zone, locating.
1-2. Swung on and missed. Strand fanned for the 8th of the night for Lavonis, and he's through 4 very cleanly. Off speed, 98, 99 miles per hour. He'll do it a number of ways.
21, David Wabir.
Doesn't get a lot bigger than this.
Run straight for the breakaway.
Who will emerge? We'll see.
Cannot wait. The ACC Baseball Championship begins next week in Uptown Charlotte. 4 games a day for those first couple of days. Tuesday, Wednesday, all 16 teams in the ACC make it. Single elimination format. Top 4 seeds receive double byes automatically into the quarterfinals. The next 4, 5 through 8 with that single bye. Should be a lot of fun. Always is. Duke or North Carolina has won it in 5 of the last 6 seasons.
Kind of a mixed review amongst the coaches as to how they like the single elimination format. More have told me they are fans of it than I thought I would hear.
Well, it was interesting. It was the round robin format, and just as soon as you thought maybe the rest of the country would follow suit with that, it became the good thing to do, or the favored thing to do, to go to a single elimination. And that got the sign off from the coaches anyway.
Yeah, and I think it becomes a little bit of a question administratively. Do we want to expend the cost to do that?
First pitch from David Wabir is grounded to Colton Quagliano, and the throw gets Matt Conti for the first out.
Low 3/4 arm slot. Not going to be overpowering. A lot of sinking action to his fastball, which is going to be in that 87-mile-an-hour range. A slider be around 81. He'll throw a changeup around that same mile per hour at about 81. He'll throw that a lot to left-handers.
Foul tip on the first pitch to Boston Torres. In the official stats, he's 2 for 2 with a couple of doubles, couple runs driven in, couple of runs scored. And not to take away from that, but, the second double was a pop-up on the infield. It's another one hard hit in play. Fielded deeply by Anderson from second, and with Boisvert covering, can't get it there in time or on target.
So how you scoring that? That's a tough one.
I think this might also favor Torres. I think he might get a hit.
Most likely he will. I think largely because of the fact that second baseman's fielding it in shallow right field. That probably becomes advantage Torres there on the scoring ruling.
It's a runner at first either way for Wake Forest. Andrew Costello, the batter. And it is ruled a throwing error on Anderson, the second baseman. So the fourth error of the evening for the Blue Devils.
As a former pitcher, I don't hate that scoring decision.
Yeah. There goes Torres. And Strand has some trouble on the transfer, so Torres is up easy at second base.
Boy, great time to go. It just kind of felt like no one was really paying attention to him at first base.
Prior to, just 4 stolen bases on the season for Torres. Costello laces it out into left. Caught for the out. Torres tags up and beats the throw.
Costello on the nose with that. Albright, great job getting that out of his glove and making it a reasonable play at second base, throwing behind.
So now 2 down and a runner at second. Same situation as it was last time for Blake Schaff when he bounced it over the wall and left for an RBI double.
So Duke's got to figure out, too, how they're going to manage their staff through these 3 games, knowing where they are in the standings. They're not going to move a lot regardless how this weekend goes.
Yeah, that's a great point because Duke not getting one of those single or double byes for the ACC tournament next week, it means they're going to have to win 5 games in order to win the whole thing.
And you certainly want to enter this series against Wake wanting to win each game, but you've also got to manage your staff accordingly and to prepare them to be ready to roll on the week or when the tournament rolls around on Tuesday.
Marsh fields it himself and gets through the frame. Chris Lavonis of Wake Forest has been stellar so far on the mound this evening. He's through 4 innings of work. He's only had 1 base runner against him, Coach, and he's struck out 8.
And he's had everything working, fastball, 2 breaking balls, his curveball and his slider, and he's thrown that changeup. So he's really commanded 4 pitches tonight. His stock has not fallen at all.
He's at 58 pitches as he enters the 5th inning here, so not quite 15 per inning on average. Not bad.
It'll be interesting how Wake uses their bullpen tonight and this weekend. They're guessing a little bit as to when they're going to throw. I guess they or play. I'm assuming they're figuring our first game will be Wednesday.
First one to Colin Anderson off the mark inside. Anderson struck out on 4 pitches his first time up.
Looked like Evan Jones getting the blood flowing in the bullpen a little bit for Wake. Just another guy who throws 98 with great secondary stuff down there.
Lifted by Anderson, but he turned on it quickly, so it's foul.
We said at the end of the last inning when we were off the air, 20 fastballs, 40 secondary type pitches from Lavonis. His first 3 this inning have been of the secondary variety. And there's a changeup.
Down and away, 2-2. So he's kept his promise. I say that a bit jokingly, but he's been about 30% with the fastball all year. Oh, Anderson deemed to have not gone with the check over to John Byrne at first base, and the count runs full.
Yeah, it's fringy. I think that's an okay call.
Here's Lavonis with a full count. Gets a big swing and a miss. Anderson to a knee is the 9th strikeout victim of the night for Lavonis.
3-2 curveball. Again. Late downward action, the old-fashioned 12-6, Uncle Charlie, whatever you want to call it. That's a tough pitch to hit. It's a great pitch to have in your arsenal.
To the fastball to begin, Michael DiMartini. That's 96 according to the in-stadium radar.
Duke had forgotten he had that in his pocket.
Bouncer, weird spin. Lavonis fields it himself, falling away, makes an accurate throw to first.
Wow, really athletic play, tough throw.
DiMartini insists that he was able to run it out.
John Byrne looked at our first base umpire, looked like he might have gotten in an odd position to see that, or might have gotten screened on it given where the throw went.
So this will be challenged by Duke. And our second look at it, oh yeah, obviously safe.
Yeah, John Byrne trying to slide towards the foul line. I think the CEA, does he catch it? Is his foot on the bag? You know, a conversation we may or may not want to have here, but is that a little bit of a 2 bases complication for an umpire right there? You know, is that play going to be easier to see with one base?
It's an interesting question, right? Because, I mean, you know, theoretically, when there are 2 bases, you need to be conditioned to look in 2 places.
Yeah, I think I know what the umpires, if we brought a group of them up here, what they would say. But he could go to the far outside of the green bag, and you're looking at the first baseman's foot on the white bag, and is the foot on hit the green bag? And I got to see, is the throw handled? Is it low? I think it's asking a lot of the umpire.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. Duke overturns.
So the runner's safe. Now, my rebuttal to that would be, as we get another look at it, and again, DiMartini beat it by half a step. With both the implementation of the double bag and the replay review challenge system, you do get that result right. You know what I mean? There's not a scenario necessarily where, unless a team's out of challenges, you're going to get that wrong.
And I think, you know, the intention of the rules committee and the umpires has always been, as they've put new things into play, get the call right.
Yeah.
And they got it right there.
Bounces over the plate. Conti all over it. 1-0 to Bobby Marsh. The Miami transfer with his second ACC team here at Duke. Tried to rise up with the pitch, can't connect, and it's 1-1.
That's the first fastball he's seen tonight. He saw fastball, curveball for that strikeout in his first at bat, and a first pitch curveball to start this one, and that upper level fastball right past him, even to count at 1-1.
95 blown by Marsh. So still effective, even though Lavonis is obviously down a couple of ticks with the fastball.
So you could throw that great curveball, or you could go back up top with the fastball.
The 1-2 runner goes.
And he tried to go with the change there.
Misses low, so DeMartini is safe at second as well. No throw.
You know, I think in a 6-0 game in the fifth, you know, you want to hold the runners with your tempos. I think not getting too focused on that base runner and locking in on the hitter is definitely the way to go.
Big bite on that breaker, and it misses inside on Marsh. Now a full count. An engagement warning.
A lot of 3-2 breaking balls tonight from Lavonis.
To the plate, tried another and misses high. Ball 4. So after the infield single for DeMartini is the first hit of the evening for Duke. The walk to follow puts 2 aboard for the first time tonight for the Blue Devils.
I think this is where you've got to be careful with Lavonis right now. A little bit getting out of rhythm. A lot of secondary stuff, which is fairly taxing. If he starts missing the zone a little bit, he becomes a little more vulnerable. And that pitch count could suddenly run up to a number where you've got to be thinking about making a bullpen move. I know they'd love to get him as deep as possible here in the final regular season series leading them into the tournament.
Drifts outside. Colton Quagliano with a 1-0 count. Struck out his first time up. And a timeout for Wake Forest. You saw Matt Conti look toward the dugout for instruction as to how to navigate this. So perhaps that signaling that Wake Forest is already thinking about an exit strategy for Lavonis here.
Yeah, Jones is tossing in the bullpen. Sleeves or jacket still on, so he's not going but so fast right now. I'm sure if suddenly this gets a little more problematic for Lavonis, Jones will be ready to get rolling quickly down there.
A touch inside, 2-0. Lavonis has been under 80 pitches in a start earnestly just a few times this year. Last weekend he was scheduled to go only 2 innings, so he threw 28 pitches, his season low. Fouled back by Quagliano, and it's 2-1.
Pretty good swing at that pitch. 17 pitches this inning, 14 breaking balls. So maybe if you're Duke, are you guessing a little bit? You know, he certainly was on that one pretty good at 2-0. I don't think you want to make your living guessing breaking balls, but maybe you pick a pitch, pick a count here and there.
2-1. Lavonis goes fastball, and it's fouled away. And that's why you don't want to get caught guessing.
And as late as he was on that fastball, that's telling me we're throwing that again. You know, I'm not going to suddenly You know, his breaking balls are what you call bat speed kind of breaking balls, or swing and miss.
Runners go. The swing was deemed to come through for strike 3, and then the runner thrown out on the backside of the double steal. Marsh is out at second to retire the side.
Boy, great tag. Pick of the throw and tag at second base.
It's Wake out of a jam. Prior to the break, to retire the side for Wake Forest and get them out of maybe their first stressful situation of the evening, it was a check swing by Colton Quagliano, called strike 3, that he came around, and then the backside of a double steal. Matt Conti throws to second, and the Deeks tag out the Duke base runner Bobby Marsh.
But I think they were prepared to call Quagliano out for interference as well, as he crossed in front of the plate. So if there hadn't been an out call at second base, we might have gotten it on the batter interference.
2-0 to J.D. Stein. It's 9-1-2 due up for Wake Forest here.
Game's obviously still in reach for Duke.
Three and nothing. Yeah, I mean, the Duke pitching staff has, all things considered, done a pretty nice job of keeping it where it is. 5 runs by Wake Forest in the first inning on just 1 hit. 1 run since then. Stein watches ball 4, and it's a leadoff walk for Wake Forest.
Well, this is where it can get dangerous with Williams and company coming up.
Now batting the center fielder, number 14, Jamar Williams.
David Boisvert continues to throw for the Blue Devils. And Javar Williams 0 for 2, did walk his last time up. There goes Stein immediately for second, no throw, and he's in there with the stolen base.
That's a time right there. I think you're almost at automatic, regardless of Stein's propensity to run or not run. You've got to pay some attention, make a pick throw or two. Stein had a great jump.
Now Williams with a runner in scoring position, watches a breaking ball in there for strike 1.
I'm sure Duke does not want to go deep number of arms wise into their bullpen tonight.
Lambden fields and throws from short. That gets Williams for the first out, but J.D. Stein, after the stolen base, advances from second to third on the ground ball, just 90 feet away from scoring number 7 for Wake Forest.
Good old-fashioned situational baseball there by Javar Williams, runner at second base. Ground ball behind the runner, move him to third with less than, get him to third with 1 out. That's how they played it in the old days.
Luke Costello sends it into right field. R.J. Hamilton lays out for the catch. Now the throw home, not in time. It is an exciting sacrifice fly to drive in 1 for Wake Forest.
Well, that's just good baseball by Wake right there. Good at bat, good pass on that fastball. Costello keeping his hands in, driving it the other way.
Cade Lewis.
All set up by Javar Williams, hitting a professional ground ball to shortstop to move Stein over to third.
Now empty base paths for Cade Lewis. 1-0 the count. He's a steady 2 for 2 tonight. A couple of balls on the ground through the right side of the infield. A watchful eye. He has 2-0. That time, Boisvert finds the strike zone.
Yeah, Boisvert, everything he throws has some sinking action to it. That was a tight little cutter slash slider. His fastball and his change will sink and tail to the third base side of the plate. He's got to be down in the zone to be effective. Got that low arm slot right-hander, a natural sinking type delivery.
3-1 up and in, and it hits Lewis, who has reached all 4 times he's been up today.
Fastball at 85, just got away from him. Trying to work it on the inside part of the plate.
Number 1, Dalton Wentz.
And Boisvert begins outside to Dalton Wentz.
Wentz looking for something middle in here in this 1-0 count.
Skies it into the air. DeMartini's way in center field. Didn't have to move much. And squeezes for out 3. Some small ball, a sacrifice fly for Wake Forest. Tacks on another in the top of the 6th.
I cannot help my fixation.
The real fun just getting started.
Run straight for the breakaway.
The celebration is on.
We are so far down the road to Omaha, the College World Series beginning in Omaha June 12th. Of course, a lot of great action between now and then. Exciting time of the year, Coach, because at this very point in the season, it's so hard to tell who's going to be there, right? I mean, a Murray State from last year hardly was on the minds of the college baseball world in the final regular season weekend. It's just
You just don't know. We were fortunate to experience it in a good way in 2017. You just don't know who's going to be hot when.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, we played out of our minds for 3 weeks and made history for our program and got some national notoriety because we were playing great during that time, and with the same people we'd been running out there all year, and kind of a magical time for everybody.
Inside from Chris Lavonis, missing to Tyler Albright. Now 3-0. Albright walked his only time up again so far. There's the first strike. Be interesting to see here. You mentioned it last frame, what Wake Forest does with Lavonis. How much run they want to give him. And that's inside. Albright walks for the second time in as many plate appearances.
He's labored a little bit more the last 4 hitters. Huge advantage, or huge help for Wake and for Lavonis with that strike him out, throw him out to end the inning.
And now Evan Jones a little more deliberately loosening in the bullpen for Wake Forest. Top of the order, a man on for Jake Lambden, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Just a bit high for Lavonis. First pitch fastball.
He may very well, if you sat him down, he may say, I have more faith in throwing my off-speed stuff for strikes. But if you don't throw the fastball a lot, it's hard to command it when you need to, as it creeps up towards that 90 pitch number.
And here comes Eric Neeson, Wake Forest's first-year pitching coach. In the spot that Corey Muscara, head coach of Duke, occupied just a year ago.
Lavonis, very athletic, high-paced delivery. I think right now that's just a little visit to, hey, slow things down a little bit. Make sure you're gathered over the rubber, which every pitcher has to have that feeling. It's different what that means for every pitcher, but they all have to have a sense of everything's synced up over the rubber before I start down the slope. Every pitcher tends at times to get too quick towards the hitter. Sometimes a visit can be just what the doctor ordered.
It's a swing and a miss from Lambden. So that makes it 2-1.
That was not a great slider, but a good result there. Kind of pulled that down and away, but gets to count to 2-1.
Move over to the runner Albright. Breaking ball lofted into the air, right center field, and it curled toward Costello in right for the flyout.
A little bit of a hanging slider, but it got in, was in on the hands a little bit. Lambden kind of jammed himself and a little soft, lazy fly ball to right.
R.J. Hamilton.
I got to believe that regardless of how this inning goes the rest of the way, this will be the last frame for Lavonis if he completes it.
Breaking ball to start R.J. Hamilton, and it's across. Hamilton's not seen many of Lavonis's pitches. He hit a fly ball on the second pitch his first time up and then struck out on 3 more recently in the 4th.
3 really, really great sliders from Lavonis to Hamilton in that second at bat. Duke is not easing up on the pressure they're trying to put on the base paths here, as indicated by the attempted stolen bag to end the last inning. Albright with an aggressive lead this right now.
1-1 the count to Hamilton. Tyler Albright, the runner at first, 19 stolen bases this season. Duke set a new program record for team stolen bases in a single year earlier this season. Couple of hops, hot to Stein. He gets it to shaft the turn, and Wake Forest turns 2 to get out of another inning. The pitch for the Blue Devils is Sammy Petroselli, not oft used this season, the right-handed sophomore. Previously at Stanford, where he did not appear in a game as a freshman a season ago. Just 1 inning thrown so far for Duke this year.
Wearing his head a little bit like a left-hander. A little bit cockeyed.
I don't think the sun would be an issue at this point. You know, it was setting
actually
earlier with a little bit of a detriment to the guys down on the field, but I don't think that's a factor. Yeah,
I actually noticed it in the video I watched of him. So my second manager with the Red Sox, my minor league career, he first thing he said to me was, "Hey, you wear your hat pretty good for a left-hander." So I didn't know how to take that exactly.
First pitch is a breaking ball to Matt Conti, who's got 0-1.
Petroselli, kind of a low 3/4 arm slot, 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
Off the hands, little flare into foul ground, and Bobby Marsh goes to snag it.
Oh, nice play. Had to be a ball wasn't up there a long time to make a read of. Good awareness as to where the dugout was. Petrocelli will throw a breaking ball at 78, a change at 80. Again, the fastball will get up there at 92. That ball had a little run on to his arm side into the right-handed hitting Conti.
His first to Boston Torres. Ripped but foul. Over into the Wake Forest bullpen.
Sort of a flatter breaking ball from that lower arm slot. Pretty tight, pretty late action on it. Comes back with a change away, so splitting the plate, two different directions.
Torres, non-committal, but came around for strike two.
Boy, good adjustment through the changeup again. And Strand did a really good job of giving Petrocelli a good visual adjustment on the inside part of the plate to help that ball stay on the plate as it ran to the third base corner.
Now a full count. This is the most pitches Torres has seen in a plate appearance tonight. Pitch number 6, ripped, but Marsh there to grab it before it hits the turf.
Changeup stayed up a little bit. Torres, though, really good job keeping his hands back and smoked that.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 26, Andrew Costello.
It's a couple of plays for Marsh, 2 away.
Marsh having quite the inning.
Bouncer for Andrew Costello. Lambden, a quick exchange as he throws on the run. That is a 1-2-3 frame for Duke's defense.
Fans, it's now time for the 7th inning stretch. Get on your feet and sing along.
Innings of one hit shutout baseball by starter Chris Lavonis. Evan Jones is the first out of the bullpen for Wake Forest. This is a freshman they've used a lot already, over 35 innings on the year.
Another power right-hander. His fastball will jump up there 97, 98, and he too with some great explosive secondary stuff. Slider that'll be 86 to 88 miles an hour. Strikes out a lot of hitters. Duke also has to pay attention to the fact that he can walk some guys, so they're down 7. They need to get some base runners. They need to be disciplined at the plate and make Jones pound the zone. Another exciting arm that Wake Forest runs out there for those in the professional baseball world to witness.
Man, they've got a deep well of them, huh? I mean, it's...
I was talking to a college coach who said I've never, in fact it was Link Jarrett, said I've never seen a pitching staff with so many guys who throw hard.
First pitch, a breaking ball from Jones to Caden Smith, and it misses low and outside.
Little bit of a lower arm slot than Lavonis. His breaking ball will have more of a sweeping action to it. Still has good depth to it. His fastball will run as it did right there in onto the right-handed hitters.
Smith into the air, left field, didn't get all of it, and it's pulled in for the out.
Pretty good pass at that slider, but just kind of jammed himself a little bit. You can see as he goes to the dugout, he'd like to have that pitch back again. I think it was very hittable for him.
Looks like the wind coming in just a bit too, although As I say that, I'm looking out there and the direction has changed on the flags, so who knows how it affected the fly ball. It's in, then it's out, then it's towards center field. It's a called strike to Matthew Strand, 1-1.
85-mile-an-hour slider after that 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Very small type breaking ball, not a big loopy pitch, which makes it that much tougher for the hitters to handle. That wind blowing in, same direction it was on every one of my tee shots yesterday. I think it shifted with me every hole, looked where I was, and it turned. It was right in my face.
Called strike 3. Fastball at 98. And Strand returns to the dugout.
Boy, great spot. Might have been a tick down. Yeah. Might have been an ABS challenge pitch right there, right at the bottom of the knees.
32, Anderson.
That lower arm slot from Jones would make you think he's going to want to live with his fastball down in knee level like that one right there. Like we talked about in the old days, it was fill up the box, which is 3 inches above the knees, 6 inches below. Throw everything there.
1-1. Spins to the outside. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. Another one fisted. This one will get down into left. Torres played the turf pretty well there, jumping and making himself big to keep it from going by him.
Yeah, you know, outfielders have to play that ball. You know, balls hit shallow. You come on, and if you can shoot string catch it or short hop it, you keep coming. If you're going to get caught in between, you need to back off. He backed off, and then he adjusted really well to that spongy kind of hop off the field turf.
So that's 2 hits on the day for Duke now. 1 an infield single and then the bloop hit. And a first pitch swing. DeMartini can't touch the slider. DeMartini was the one who bounced it to the left side of the infield deep in a hole, able to run it out. Or forgive me, that was a little tapper back to Lavonis on the mound.
That was our review play, right?
Yeah.
Really good play by Lavonis.
Now Jones has DeMartini 0-2. And gets him swinging and missing with the slider. His second through 4 batters. Evan Jones gets out of the bottom of the 7th. Two seeds in the field of 64, according to D1 Baseball. 4 ACC teams in here, with Wake Forest notching themselves at the number 23 overall seed. That's a difference this year, Coach, with the way the committee is plotting the teams out, in that they are going to seed out teams 17 through 32, the 2 seeds, and then they're going to try as best as they can to match them up, whereas it would be, for instance, the 17 seed would be the 2 seed in the 16 seeds regional, if that makes any sense. And you kind of work that way. But, you know, it's closer to impossible than it is easy to just plot them out that exact way. So they've got the quadrants of teams that they're going to operate with.
Yeah, those crystal balls don't always work, right? I tell you, I applaud the efforts each year of putting it together. So many good baseball teams listed there, and how do you put them where? How do you rank order them? Just so hard to determine that.
What's interesting, too, is that you know, in these projections, it's you get a team like Tennessee who, by the resume, gets closer to that 32 mark. Blake Schaff, a bouncer to second base. Anderson handles it for the first away. So say you get a Tennessee, and because of the resume and all the things that go into the machinations there, they just happen to be around that 30 to 32 mark, which means that they could end up being the 2 seed in a team like top seed UCLA or Georgia Tech or North Carolina, who are also up there. And that's because of the talent alone that Tennessee has, that's a pretty tough draw. So similar to the way that Wake Forest, being the number 2 and the 10th overall seed, Florida's region is a pretty tough draw for the Gators. Not one you want to see.
Yeah, 2 seeds I've always felt like are right, you know, they're like 1.5 seeds. They're right there. They could really easily do some damage.
The funny thing is, too, we're at the point in the year where the next week or two, or I guess this weekend plus next week, can do so much for a resume, where a team that might be a regional host drops into that 17 through 32. So you go all season long thinking, hey, this is a host caliber team, but things happen and they drop down to a 2.
Well, when you're looking at a Wake Forest, it could go a lot of directions based on this weekend.
Yeah.
And then who knows what happens tournament time. Yeah, it's going to be a interesting next 10 days.
Quagliano in from third. Strong throw gets J.D. Stein 2 down.
Great defensive plays by Duke on 4 of the last 5 batters.
Now batting the center fielder, number 14.
More of the Duke defense than what we saw in inning number 1. Petroselli's done a nice job of keeping this game in hand thus far for Duke.
Called strike to begin things to Javar Williams. Hitless tonight. He's 0 for 3. Did reach on a walk. Yeah, the way Duke has pitched since the first inning. Now 0-2. I mean, you wipe out those 3 errors in the first inning, and it's hard to tell what kind of game we're dealing with.
And all 3 of the pitchers who've run out there tonight have shown a plus changeup, which has kept the Wake Forest hitters off balance.
And there's a swing and a miss. Javar Williams strikes out. It is 6 consecutive retired for Petroselli. Duke still down 7, but holding serve. The lead for Wake Forest in this game 1 on the final regular season weekend. It was 5 in the first for the Demon Deacons on just 1 hit. Duke committed 3 errors. Since then, Coach, it's been pretty competitive, I'd say.
Boy, not a whole lot of balls hit on the button, and some good defense from Duke here the last couple innings.
Evan Jones dealing for Wake Forest. He's got the bottom of the Duke order here, beginning with Bobby Marsh.
And really well pitched by both clubs all the way through thus far. Be curious to see if Wake tries to let Jones finish this.
Rolls foul for Marsh. He's got 2-2.
Save some arms. They'll have some activity going on in the bullpen in case things go awry. But, you know, do you let Jones finish this game? This is his work for the weekend, planning ahead for the tournament.
2-2, wave and a miss.
Wake does have the luxury of having some pretty significant depth in their bullpen.
Now batting the third baseman, number 3.
sure like getting through the first of a 3-game set with 2 pitchers if you can do it.
Yeah, no matter when that is, right? I think it still remains likely for Wake Forest that their tournament's going to start on Wednesday. So you can come kind of close to treating it like you would your typical rest in between series.
Yeah, and I think we all get kind of concerned about pitch volume and frequency of usage. I think maybe a little overrated, but at this time of the year, guy coming back on 4 days rather than 5, or 5 rather than 6 days rest, they're going to be fine, and they might be better as a result of it too.
One and two, Quagliano skips it over to second. Schaff all over it. 2 gone. It's funny, these teams in different scenarios with their pitching staffs. We saw Duke go to Sammy Petroselli, who's looked really good so far, but just 1 inning thrown prior to tonight. And this is game 1 of a series. So for Duke, I mean, do you think, hey, we got to win 5 games if we're going to pull off the unthinkable in Charlotte next week? We've got to kind of play this weekend with that in mind.
Sure, I think you want to get guys work. Hey, you want to try to win the games, but at the same time, you want to get guys work so that they're tuned up and ready to go. Even if that means pulling guys at times you don't normally want to pull them in this series, but if it's not going to do a lot for you standings-wise and getting arms prepped for the tournament is most important, then maybe you're going to be a little creative and more spring training it kind of approach.
Offensive conference there for the Blue Devils, as Tyler Albright has walked in his 2 plate appearances. And looks at a strike from Evan Jones.
Jones has been wearing out the bottom part of the strike zone, just right at and a tick below the kneecap. Been getting the calls.
There's another to make it 0-2.
You're running fastballs at 95 and above down there. That's just really tough for a hitter.
0-2, and he goes right at Albright, who tips it foul. .97 that time for Jones.
Yeah, we don't see it as much as we used to. And that 0-2 fastball, have that catcher go 4 inches off the outside corner. Let that fastball run back maybe if it misses. We're seeing more elevated, throw it, keeping it over the middle part of the plate, which makes me nervous.
Again with 2 strikes, and again, Albright lays off. He, if nothing else, has finally displayed his knack for the strike zone.
Good, patient approach, doesn't commit anything early, really sees it deep.
And that was 2-2. So the slider stopped by Conti brings the count full.
I think Jones has to be careful his arm slot doesn't drop too much and that slider gets really flat when he does. Got to stay on top.
And Jones firms it up with a fastball but misses just inside. A few pro-style at-bats or plate appearances as they officially go down for Tyler Albright tonight. 3 walks.
Really good at bat. Good adjustment right there by Jones. That's where his arm slot needs to be. Just missed off the inside edge. Tough pitch to lay off. Albright really showing that good patience at the plate.
Top of the order, Jake Lambden. First pitch breaking ball, 0-1.
You can see like a lot of lower arm slot pitchers, Jones absolutely drops down a little bit lower on his breaking ball than he does his fastball.
Burns it in there. 4 strike 2. Jones goes right at him, and it's fouled away. That's a stylistic difference as we go from Lavonis to Jones. He's got no 2, and it's heater all the way.
Yep. And at 96, I love that. Good. Bunch of options here.
Breaker fought off and foul.
If he runs that fastball in right here, he'll break Landon's bat. Jones, we saw him very early in the year getting his feet wet. Boy, they got his feet wet pretty fast. He's now a high leverage dude.
Another breaking ball 0-2, and it's down the line and fair. Extra bases for Lambden. Albright rounding third. Here he comes home. The throw from Stein, not in time, and Duke's got their first run.
Breaking ball stayed on the inside part of the plate, up just a little bit. Good pass by Landon. Great base running by Albright. Got around really well. Good turns at second and at third. Good straight line into home plate here. And Wake did a really good job on the exchange and the relay, just not in time.
RBI double Jake Lambden, and a first pitch strike to R.J. Hamilton. So finally the Blue Devils break the ice.
Boy, great miss, great pitch. Just down below the bottom part of the strike zone. A little sinking action to it.
1-1, poked into right field for a hit. Hamilton on his way to second. He drives in a run. It's back-to-back RBI doubles.
Boy, that fastball ran in hard on Hamilton. He kept his hands inside of it. A little bit of an excuse me double down the line, but because he was able to keep his hands inside, didn't roll around that, he gets a positive result out of it.
Hamilton playfully with his palms to the sky as the celebration toward his Duke teammates. 2 across for the Blue Devils. Here's Caden Smith, and a take on a fastball for 1-0.
So at this point now, Jones is at 40 pitches, so he's done for this weekend after today. The question is now, what is his threshold relative to being ready to go on Wednesday? Meaning we'll run someone else out there for inning number 9, assuming Jones finishes inning number 8. Good tight slider right there. When he stays up with his arm slot on that slider, that's when he gets that depth and that late action on it. It doesn't sweep, it doesn't get too lateral.
96 blown past Caden Smith, and that levels the count at 2-2.
Nice, effortless, smooth tempo in those last 2 pitches.
Inside, Conti hops out to regain it so that Hamilton stays put. Now a full count.
Bet in my house we see the breaking ball here.
3-2, Hamilton goes, fastball swing and a miss. And Jones retires the side, stranding the runner in scoring position. Duke with a couple of runs in the 8th. To the 9th inning here in Durham, and Jordan Rogolski on to pitch for Duke. Blue Devils trying to keep it where it is for their final chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. It is 7-2.
Rogulski, an exciting arm, 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. Struggled a little bit command-wise. He's walked 18 and 14 innings thus far. But he's got some electric stuff, a really good 81 mile an hour slider that's going to have some good depth to it. Key for him, like it is with every pitcher in the world, pound the strike zone.
First pitch is inside to Luke Costello. Rogulski coming off of an outing of an inning and a third where he pitched scorelessly in the series at Georgia Tech. Costello rockets it straight up into the air. It is out into right field. Hamilton in for the catch.
Now batting the first baseman, number 6, Cade Lewis.
So a couple of pitches in, one down for Rogulski, and it brings up Cade Lewis.
A nice athletic delivery, and that fastball ran in a little bit, jammed Costello just a touch. Rogulski will throw an 88 mile an hour change at you once in a while, mostly to lefties.
Cade Lewis here has reached all 4 times he's been up so far. A walk, couple of singles, and was hit by a pitch. Good take, and it's 2-0.
Nice job by Strand of freezing that pitch on the outside corner, just off the outside edge, as he indicated to his bench, who was asking him where that pitch was.
Big swipe at it, and it's 2-1 for Lewis. Rogulski, the kind of arm talent that you can just envision Corey Muscara getting more and more of as he gets more settled into his role as the head coach here.
Yeah, it's got some electricity in that fastball. Interested to see where his role, what his role becomes deeper in his career. Is he going to be a high leverage reliever? Does he have enough stuff to be a starter?
Here's a 2-2. Lewis leaves the breaking ball up in a full count now.
So an old rule of thumb was 2-2 count, best pitch that day. It's, you know, if you're Lavonis, you got like 13 options. Right now, if you're Rogulski, you probably want to go fastball on that. That's what you're commanding the best.
So then he went fastball on the full count, fought off by Lewis. Another 3-2. Strike 3 called. The heater was in there. Lewis left the bat on his shoulder.
Down in the zone, great leverage. Ball had a little bit of movement back to the third base side of the plate. Knee high, can't do anything with it. Tip the cap. Nice pitch, Rogulski.
Two batters faced, both sat down by Rogulski, and now Dalton Wentz to the plate. First pitch, shot out into deep center field. DeMartini can't run it down, and it bounces over the wall. How about that? Another auto double for Wake Forest.
Great swing, great at bat by Wentz, looking for that fastball. He got it. You know, and I'm impressed by Rogulski coming right at him. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's my best. Hit it. He hit it, but I pounded the zone. That's what Rogulski needs to do to really develop his confidence in this kind of a role.
Tight pitch to Matt Conti to begin him 1-0.
Regardless of as to how the rest of this outing goes or what Rogalski does in the postseason, Duke's got to be kind of excited about what he can bring to the table for them.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's holding his changeup grip in his hand, which is clearly the one he's got most difficulty with. Doesn't throw it a lot. Switches to his other, whatever pitch he's going to throw in the glove.
2-0 bouncer over the middle. Snagged by Anderson. Throw falling away. Got to the bag at first in time. Runner stranded. Ever since that troublesome 3-error first inning, the defense, especially in the infield, has been exceptional for the Blue Devils. Anderson coming across the infield to make that play. Forest entering the bottom of the ninth, game one of the weekend set. As we conclude the regular season with the ACC Baseball Championship in Uptown Charlotte on our minds as we look ahead to next week, but still the finish to this one and a couple of games remaining. Evan Jones still on for Wake Forest and misses inside to Matt Strand, the leadoff batter, here in Duke's final chance.
I like the fact they've got Jones out there to finish this, potentially. They won't let him go, but so far, as far as getting in trouble this half, this game isn't totally out of reach for Duke. But again, if Wake can get through this game having used just 2 pitchers, Jones, this is it for him for the weekend anyway, so he'll be ready to go on Wednesday if needed.
Foul ball makes it 2-1 on Jones's 48th pitch of the outing. He's coming off of back-to-back 73 and 72 pitch outings, his 2 longest of the season. Strike 2 to Strand. So you know if he's going, he's got the length certainly to get you through this bottom of the ninth. And again, if you're Wake Forest, it saves you the trouble of burning another arm. With 2 strikes, Strand leaves it, and it's a full count.
Boy, good miss, the good take. Yeah, they've got activity going. They got some people hot if needed.
Down and in ball 4. Strand walks to begin the bottom of the ninth for the Blue Devils.
And I think that leadoff base on balls creates a little more urgency in the bullpen.
Now batting the second baseman, number 32, Colin Anderson.
Duke with 2 runs, their first of the night in the bottom of the 8th inning.
We're probably saying one more guy gets on him and we get him.
Down and away to Colin Anderson, 1-0, and Matt Conti calls a timeout to go talk to his pitcher.
His last 5 hitters have been walk, double, strikeout, walk. So again, obviously the Wake dugout paying attention to that as well. If you go to the pen, you want to try to avoid your reliever coming into too high leverage of a situation if possible.
Anderson a try at it, 1-1. Singled his last time up. Couple of strikeouts otherwise. Oh, it skips away from Conti. Strand easily to second base.
Conti not getting down a block there, tried to pick it. Some late depth on that breaking ball, got into the dirt.
Jones the 2-1. Gets it to 2-2. When he's been right, he's been living in that bottom portion of the strike zone.
Boy, that's crossing right at the kneecap.
Now with 2 strikes. Gets a wave and a miss. A foul tip, strike 3, the fifth punch out for Jones.
Good movement into the right-hander. Got under his barrel. Fastball to get it to 2-2 and fastball to finish him.
0-1 to Michael DiMartini. With the runner moving to second on the wild pitch, the strikeout pretty big there because you don't allow Duke to move him over. I know it's 5 runs the difference, but there's a weak little ground ball fielded at first by Cade Lewis. He tosses to Jones, covering, and that's a nice play for the second away.
Four high-quality fastballs in a row. 2 to finish Anderson, the 2 to DiMartini. Really good movement on that fastball into the right-handers. Jones struck out Marsh on a couple good breaking balls in that last at-bat.
Bobby Marsh, the final stand for the Blue Devils here in Game 1 of the weekend series.
I think I'm staying with that 96. But you know me well enough in our conversation, that probably doesn't surprise you.
Grounder to the other side. The throw from third is in time, and it retires this side. I interrupted you there, so you know you can.
That's why.
Pretty impressive here for Wake Forest to get their final weekend of the regular season started, no?
Good night. Getting through with it, 2 arms, took advantage of some miscues in the first inning, had some good at-bats along the way.
But it was mainly that 5-run first, aided by a few errors. Wake Forest able to capture the lead and keep the lead to get Game 1 7-2 over their rivals, the Duke Blue Devils. For Dick Cook, our producer Blake Woodard, the rest of our crew here in Durham, I'm Darren Vaught. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.